Okay, welcome to Learning Target 3, and we're going to talk about odds today. And so you might think you know what odds are, and so we just want to talk about what odds actually are. And so the question is, like, what are odds, and are they different from probabilities? And so you can read a question like this, or an article like this, and so I'm not going to actually click on it, but if you want to go to the article, you can actually read it, and we would talk about it in class. So, The question is really, what are odds? So I can interpret odds and calculate them for different situations, and I know that odds are often used and misused in the real world. So odds actually come up a lot, and we just saw, like with this article of Roll Up the Rim, our odds do come up in the media and they come up in the real world. So two ways of representing odds. You can say that the odds in favor of something or odds against. But notice that this is n of a divided by n of a prime. So that means like the number of wins divided by the number to the number of losses, not to the total. So it's different than probability. Odds against are n of a prime to n of a. From the article, what are the odds of turning your double-double into a car? They say odds, according to Tim Hortons, the odds of winning a coffee or donut are 1 in 6, and the odds of winning a car are 1 in 6.5 million. Now this isn't quite odds. Odds of 1 in 6 means that you've actually got probability. So 1 in 6 is probability. It's what makes sense to us mostly. If I buy 6 coffees, I'll win 1 of them. This is probability, but often we call this odds in the real world. And so it's important that you understand the difference, because odds are something that's used, but it's not in this case. N of S is the 6 trials, N of A is the 1 winner, but N of A prime is the 5 losers. The odds for winning would be 1 to 5. So every 1 win, you'd have 5 losses. That's something useful as well. It's just saying for every 1 win, you have 5 losses. And so in total, there'd be 6 trials. Okay, odds against would be 5 to 1. So you have a 5 to 1 odds against winning a coffee or donut. It means you're going to lose 5 times and win once. It's interesting to note that in this form, we can easily decide how many more times we would lose than win. And that's why odds are important. We have a 5 times more likelihood of winning than losing than winning. Okay, and 1 in 6 doesn't give that right away. Like, you actually have to kind of say, well, if it's 6 times and there's 1 win and 5 losses, you got to think about it. But odds in that form really tell you the multiple that you're going to win or you're going to lose over you're going to win. When odds are quoted, they won't tell you if it's odds for or odds against, but common sense will tell you. So obviously, if we say the odds of winning a coffee or something like that is 5 to 1, then you know that means that you're going to win once out of 6 times. You're going to lose 5 times. You're not going to win 5 out of 6. So an example, sports commentator claims that the Toronto Maple Leafs have a 20% probability of making the playoffs. Based on this estimate, what are the odds in favor of the Leafs making the playoffs? So out of how many trials, how many would they win and how many would they lose? So we could say N of A is 20 and N of S is 100. So we just use the total as 100%. So N of A prime is 80. So the odds in favor are going to be 20 to 80, which would be the same thing as 1 to 4. So they would win 1 time, they would make the playoffs 1 time. They would not make the playoffs 4 times. Okay. What type of probability is this? Just think about it. This would be a subjective probability. It's not based on anything. And it's just based on subjectiveness. It's calculated that a golfer has a 5 to 1 odds of winning a tournament. What is the probability she will win? Is this an example of odds in favor or odds against? So you just say odds of winning. So you got to think like Well, it's probably not likely that they're going to win 5 times out of 6. They're going to win 1 time out of 6, and so this is odds against. So the against happens first. So, and the probability that she'll win, he or she win, it would be 1 out of 6. Okay, so there's some questions to do, and then a question that you can think about. Give an example of a situation where something is many times more likely to not happen than to happen. What are the odds against? What is the probability?